Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Pirillo, and Ursat Savvy asked a question the other day during a live stream. Would I ever consider going back to a dumb phone, if only to cut myself off from reality that seems to bombard everybody every time you're connected? And let's face it, we're always connected. And there is a word that's a real word that's a fear of not being connected called nomophobia. Look it up, for real. So I've never considered getting a dumb phone. Instead, and this is something I would recommend for those of you who are feeling overwhelmed, I can't tell you to not pick up your device, but if your device happens to have some kind of focus mode, and yes, if you're on iOS, you have it, there may be an option that you may have on your flavor of Android, something that would effectively limit what apps you might be using at any given time, that might help you stay whelmed, not overwhelmed with information, but just whelmed. That's where you want to be. Whelmed, not just perfectly whelmed. That's what I'd recommend. Turn off notifications is another thing that I would recommend. You don't need to have notifications smacking you in the face, not physically, hopefully, not physically. But if you turn off notifications that are not critical, you're going to pick up your phone less. You're going to look at it less. That's not bad. There are maybe one or two social apps that I have notifications on, and even then, they're very granular because I don't want to constantly be looking at my phone. I don't want to be constantly looking at my screen. I don't. So I turn off notifications, because I don't really mess with the modes and the focus modes and the work mode and the play mode. I'm like, it's as much as I love to organize, it's a little too much organization for me. I feel I have enough self-control, which you may very well lack. Just don't feel like you always need to be online, even if everybody else is online right now. Don't worry about FOMO. If that's something that freaks you out, well, maybe you need to find another hobby that takes you away from the screen. 3D printing is a good example. You can't see my 3D printer printing. You might be able to hear it as the microphone may pick up some of the sounds as the filament is extruding. That takes me away from the screen, and I'm watching things go, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of neat. Of course, I'm also watching MakerDeck, other makers building, so that is a screen, but there's no notifications. That's like zen. That's like me zoning out. So finding something that you can zone out to. MakerDeck is a good example. That's the 24/7 Twitch channel of makers, 3D printers. We've had Lego brick builders. We've had crafters, all streaming 24/7, all together, like up to 10 at a time. But it's not stressful, even though it's a computer screen or a TV screen, because you're watching other people do things. So that is enough of a dumb experience for me. I have to dumb the technology down because there's no possible way I'm going back to rotary dial. I still have nightmares about rotary dial, and I'm not going to pick up one of those old phones that, just have nothing but text messages on it. I never wanted those in the first place. You have to find ways to dumb down your experience for you and recognize what's stressing you out most and get rid of those apps. Ignore those apps or turn off the notifications for those apps. And I'm going to tell you, you start turning off notifications for apps, you're going to forget they're there. And you're going to use your phone less because they're not constantly in your face. Hide them in a folder. Keep them there. If you want to look, you can look, but you're not necessarily drawn to it for the reason that it's screaming at you. So you have an opportunity to make your smartphone a dumb phone. And let's face it, a lot of people who have smartphones out there, like me, aren't all that smart to begin with. But, smartphones kind of make up the difference, right?